The sun was just beginning to rise over the bustling city of Ibadan, casting a golden hue on the red clay roofs and narrow streets. In a quiet corner of the ancient town, deep within the marketplace, Mama Sade was already at work. Her small catering business had gained a reputation for serving the most delicious jollof rice in the city. People traveled from far and wide to taste her famous dish, which left them craving more after just one bite. But what the people didn't know was that Mama Sade's secret ingredient wasn't just in the spices she used. Tucked away in the darkest corner of her kitchen was an old wooden shelf, filled with jars of expired spices and strange charms wrapped in red cloth. Mama Sade had learned the art of enchantment from her grandmother, a powerful herbalist who had warned her never to use the dark arts for selfish gain. However, desperation had pushed Mama Sade to cross that line. Years ago, her husband had abandoned her and their 2 children, leaving her to fend for the family. Business was slow, and competition was fierce. When her debts piled up and her landlord threatened eviction, Mama Sade turned to the forbidden knowledge passed down through generations. With a sprinkle of expired cayenne pepper mixed with ground cowrie shells and a whispered incantation, her jollof rice became irresistible. Unaware of the dark magic behind the flavor, customers flocked to her stall, unable to resist the allure of her food. But with each bite, an invisible thread tightened around their souls, leaving them trapped in an unending craving that slowly drained their health. Mama Sade watched her wealth grow, but deep inside, she feared the day her secret would be revealed. Word of Mama Sade's jollof rice spread like wildfire. From wedding receptions to birthday parties, her catering service became the top choice for every celebration in Ibadan. Even the wealthiest families, who once turned their noses up at local street food, couldn't resist her flavorful dishes. At first, Mama Sade reveled in her newfound success. She expanded her business, hired more hands, and moved into a bigger house in the heart of the city. Her children, whom she once struggled to feed, now attended prestigious schools. The money flowed in endlessly, and her stall was always surrounded by eager customers. Yet, beneath the cheerful facade, something sinister lurked. Guests who attended events where Mama Sade's jollof rice was served began to complain of strange symptoms. At first, it was mild headaches and fatigue. But as the addiction to her food deepened, some guests experienced sharp stomach pains and dizziness. Doctors were baffled, unable to pinpoint the cause. One such victim was Mr. Ade, a local businessman who had hired Mama Sade to cater for his daughter's wedding. He found himself craving her jollof rice every day after the event. No other food satisfied him. His once vibrant skin turned pale and his body grew weak. Yet he couldn't stop eating the rice. Rumors began to circulate in the community. Some whispered that Mama Sade had struck a deal with dark spirits, while others believed she had discovered a rare spice. But no one dared to confront her directly. After all, her food tasted like heaven, even if it left their bodies in torment. As the demand for her services grew, so did Mama Sade's fear. She knew the charms she used came with consequences. And deep down, she sensed that the spirits she had summoned were beginning to stir, hungry for more than just her customers' health. One evening, as the city of Ibadan settled under a dim orange sky, Mama Sade sat alone in her spacious new kitchen. The air was filled with the aroma of freshly cooked jollof rice, but for the first time, she felt no satisfaction. Her hands trembled as she ground the expired spices and recited the ancient incantations her grandmother had warned her against. Suddenly, the flickering flame of the kerosene lamp dimmed, and a chilling breeze swept through the room. Mama Sade's heart pounded as she heard a faint whisper echo from the corner where she kept her charms. "You have taken from the earth what was not yours to control," the voice murmured, low and menacing. "The price must be paid." Mama Sade's breath quickened. She spun around, but the room was empty. Her eyes darted to the wooden shelf where the charms rested, wrapped in red cloth. The small cowrie shells seemed to glisten in the dim light, as though alive. Fearing she was losing her mind, she rushed to her bedroom and retrieved an old, tattered notebook that once belonged to her grandmother. Flipping through the yellowed pages filled with ancient symbols and spells, she searched for answers. but the warnings were clear. To feed the soul with cursed spices is to invite the spirits to feast on the flesh. Mama Shadi's mind raced. The strange illnesses, the addiction her customers felt, and the whispers that haunted her. They were all signs that the spirits were growing restless. But how could she stop now? Her success had become her lifeline. Desperate for guidance, Mama Shade decided to visit Aya Oyo, an elderly seer who lived on the outskirts of the city. The old woman was known for her connection to the spirit world and her wisdom in breaking ancient curses. As the night deepened, Mama Shade wrapped herself in a black shawl and stepped into the shadows, hoping that Aya Oyo would help her escape the dark path she had chosen before it was too late. Aya Oyo's hut stood at the edge of a dense forest, surrounded by ancient trees that seemed to whisper secrets of the past. The elderly seer, dressed in flowing white robes, welcomed Mama Shade with eyes that seemed to see through her soul. "You have tampered with forces beyond your understanding," Aya Oyo said. "The spirits of the earth demand balance. If you do not atone, they will claim the lives of those who consume your cursed food." Terrified, Mama Shade begged for a solution. Aya Oyo instructed her to stop using the charms immediately and perform a cleansing ritual to appease the spirits. However, the seer warned that undoing the damage would not be easy. Back in her kitchen, Mama Shade followed Aya Oyo's instructions, burning sacred herbs and reciting ancient prayers. She poured libations on the ground and vowed to abandon the dark charms. But the spirits had already taken hold. Her customers grew more ill, and some even collapsed at events. Rumors of a curse spread rapidly, and people began avoiding her services. Mama Shadi's once thriving business crumbled before her eyes. Mr. Ade, the businessman who had become addicted to her jollof rice, was the first to die. His sudden death sent shockwaves through the community, and suspicion fell heavily on Mama Shade. The authorities began to investigate, and her reputation was tarnished. Neighbors who once praised her food now shunned her. Angry parents warned their children to stay away, and local pastors condemned her as a witch. Mama Shadi's children faced bullying at school, and her home was vandalized. At night, Mama Shade heard the wails of the spirits echoing through her home. Shadows danced on her walls, and unseen hands knocked on her doors. She grew pale and sleepless, haunted by the faces of her sick customers. A young bride who had served Mama Shadi's jollof rice at her wedding died mysteriously in her sleep. The community erupted in outrage, demanding justice. The police threatened to shut down Mama Shadi's business permanently. Desperate, Mama Shade returned to Aya Oyo. The seer revealed that the spirits would only be appeased if Mama Shade made a great sacrifice, her own blood or that of someone she loved. Mama Shade wept as she considered the seer's words. How could she sacrifice her children to save her soul? Yet, if she did nothing, more lives would be lost. In her anguish, Mama Shade uncovered a hidden truth. Her grandmother had once used similar charms, and her own mother had fallen victim to the curse. The cycle had repeated itself. The spirits grew more aggressive, appearing in mirrors and shadows. Mama Shadi's youngest son fell ill, and she knew the spirits were closing in on her family. A mob gathered outside her home, demanding that she leave the neighborhood. Her business was officially banned, and her family faced total isolation. In a final act of desperation, Mama Shade slit her palm and let her blood flow onto the charms. She begged the spirits to take her soul in exchange for the lives of her customers. The air grew heavy, and the ground trembled as the spirits accepted her sacrifice. The curse was lifted, but Mama Shade collapsed. Her body weakened and her spirit drained. Word spread that the strange illnesses had ended, and the community slowly began to recover. However, Mama Shadi's health deteriorated, and she became a shadow of her former self. Mama Shadi's children, ashamed of their mother's deeds, left Ibadan to start a new life. They vowed to never follow the path of dark magic. Before her death, Mama Shade had a final vision of the spirits. They warned her that the curse would return if greed and deception ever tainted the land again. Mama Shade died quietly in her sleep. Though the community buried her, they whispered of her dark deeds for generations. Her abandoned kitchen stood as a grim reminder of the price of tampering with forbidden powers. More tales, more chills, more legends. Subscribe for endless storytelling.